Are there drugs in our drinking water? Well, it depends on what you call drugs. As most of you know, I do a lot with water, and I have a lot of experience with water. I do a lot of research on water. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. You can down there on the bottom, or the little what do you call it? The watermark over here to the left, to your right, lower right. Hit that and subscribe so you can get all of our updated or new videos. But the question is, are there drugs in our drinking water? And the answer is yes. There are drugs in your drinking water, depending on what kind of water you get to drink with. What do I mean by that? Well, there are two water sources. One is groundwater and one is surface water. Now, if it's groundwater, that means it comes out of a water well, and it's chlorinated, and sometimes they put fluoride in it, and sometimes they use ammonia to make the chlorine, and that's called chloramines, which causes trimethylenes, and that's not good for you either. But if you get surface water, which is from rivers and lakes, then there are drugs in your water. And how do I know that? Well, me being the water guy, I owned a water well company, I owned a water treatment company, I worked at a wastewater treatment plant. I have some experience in water. Started back in, I think, 2005. So, the question is, are there drugs in our water? And the answer is yes, if you have surface water. Here's why. If you think about your lakes and your rivers, people do drugs, do they not? Yes, they do. Do they urinate in that water? Yes, they do. And then I know you're thinking, well, that's just not. There's not a lot of people who go in the rivers and lakes and urinate in it that take drugs. True. But here's where the greater impact is. The greater impact is this. In the cities, people use their toilets. They use drugs like cocaine, heroin, marijuana, birth control, high blood pressure, cholesterol. Those are drugs. Man-made stuff. Except for the marijuana and the cocaine. Heroin, here and there. Okay, but they're drugs nonetheless. Alright? So, what do those people do? They use the bathroom. They urinate and they defecate. Those drugs are in the urine and the feces. Where does that go? It goes down into the toilet, down into a where? Wastewater treatment plant. What happens at the wastewater treatment plant? This is what happens, because I worked in one. It goes through a bar screen, and from the bar screen it goes into an aeration basin. And from the aeration basin, it goes into what they call, they're like diffusers, kind of sort of, where the water just, all the solids, which is the poop, settles to the bottom. Bacteria eat up the poop, and then the water rises to the top, goes over the edge, then it goes into a final clarification tank, because they're actually called clarification tanks. The first one is where all the solids go, most of the solids go. Secondary is where the rest of the solids go, which are hardly any. And in between, there's an aeration tank where they aerate the water, so that way the bacteria have oxygen to breathe. So it goes into those, the clarifier, the primary clarifier, then it goes into a secondary clarifier, and then over the edge and into a chlorine basin. Now, you know what the chlorine basin's for? To kill bacteria, and only bacteria. Now that it goes through the bacteria tank, or the, what do I call it, the chlorination tank? Then it goes out into, guess what? A lake or a river. Now, once it's into the lake or to the river, there's no bacteria in it. But do they filter out the drugs? Absolutely not. So guess what? It goes into the lake or to the river, and if it's a lake and your water system pulls out of that lake, which is called surface water, all they do is they pump it into their system, they put chlorine to it to what? Kill the bacteria. Sits in a retention tank, kills bacteria, goes into the city, you open your faucet and you drink it. If it goes into a river, goes down the river, a city down there pulls it out of the river, what do they do to it? Put chlorine in it to disinfect it and kill the bacteria. Put it out into the city, what do? Turn on your faucet, you drink the water. Is there bacteria in it? Absolutely not. Are there drugs in it? Absolutely yes. The drugs are not removed from the water. Now, I know they're minute, but think about this. How many people do you know that do drugs? I know you know some. What about the ones you don't know? How many people use birth control? How many people use blood pressure medicines? How many people use cholesterol medicines? Tons, hundreds of thousands, and I haven't done the research on that, what the statistics are, because I know they're phenomenal. Do you know how many people are on blood pressure medicine? You just ask your neighbor, are you on high blood pressure medicine? Yes, I have high blood pressure. Everyone has high blood pressure just about. And cholesterol because of the foods we eat. It's crazy. And I was a firefighter, because you can see by the shirt, and I would ask my patients as soon as we arrived on scene, do you take medications, etc., etc. You would not believe the list of medications people take. And what do? They urinate them out, or they defecate them out, goes into a water treatment plant that goes into where? A lake or a river. And we consume that water all the time. So, the answer to the question, like I said in the beginning, are there drugs in our water? Absolutely. Now, either sometime in this video, like here shortly, I'm going to show you some drugs that I found when I worked at a wastewater treatment plant. It was a little baggie, and you get to see the baggie, and you get to see the little balloons inside, and you get to see the balloons that were sliced up. Guess what that was? That was heroin. It didn't make it into our system because we had a little grate there, and it stopped that little baggie from making it through. I guess they had a raid in town, and somebody flushed all those drugs because there's a lot there. But what about the drugs that don't get caught? Like the little... Actually, I caught this one too, a little baggie of crack. But what about the ones that don't get caught? And it goes through the system and gets into the water, and all the people urinating drugs into the water and defecating drugs into the water. I know sounds like a terrible video, but I've been there and seen it. And the only way to stop it in your drinking water is with the reverse osmosis system. It dilutes and it dilutes and it dilutes, but the Harvard Medical has said that there are fish that do not reproduce because of the birth control medication that comes through those wastewater treatment plants and goes into streams and rivers. The fish in the rivers don't reproduce because there's birth control medication in the rivers, and you're consuming it. You're drinking it. And we wonder why we have cancer and other problems in our lives. Get a reverse osmosis system. Save yourself, save your children, save your pets. And down here in the description, there'll be a place where you can buy a reverse osmosis system for a couple $100. It's worth it. I live on a water well. And let me tell you, I still have a reverse osmosis system because you never know what's in your water. Never, ever do you know. But you do know when you have a reverse osmosis system that your water is clean and pure. So, you don't have to take my word for it. I'll probably leave some links down here where you can check out what's in your water from other sources. But I'm telling you, I've got tons of experience. I can't even imagine how many people I've helped in their lives. One lady, I put a reverse osmosis system in because her cats were drinking city water and getting bladder infections. Guess what? Put a reverse osmosis system in, fed the cats reverse osmosis water. Cats no longer had bladder infections. But the neighbors, they're smarter than that. They didn't want a reverse osmosis system, and guess who got sick? The neighbors. Because your public water system does not always test your water and put it up where they're supposed to, required by, in Texas, the TCEQ, which is Texas Commission on Environmental Quality. They're not always posting it. You need to check out what's in your water so that you and your children don't have the same problem that they had in Flint, Michigan with lead in the water. It's important. Save your life, save your children's lives, and save the lives of your pets. $200 is not a huge investment. Then you can call a plumber and have them put it in, or you can do it yourself. But yes, there are drugs in your water. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. I'm sorry I was like hard on it, but I'm so pro people, and I know what's in our water and nobody talks about it. It seems like I'm the only one that's out here doing that, but I'm honest and I tell you the truth because I've done the research and I've been in those situations where we have drugs in our water. And like I said, I'll post a video, or not a video, but a picture of the drugs that I found when I worked at a wastewater treatment plant. Alright? If you like the video, please give us a thumbs up. Please subscribe. If you have not, you'll get an email notification saying, hey, this wacko guy from Low Cost Water Softeners has posted another video, and we try and do at least one a week. It may be relative to you, it may not, but whatever the case is, please subscribe so we can get information out there to you and you can take a look at it. And my timer says I'm going up on about 12 minutes. I know it's a long video. Sorry about that, guys. But please protect yourself and your children and your pets. Get a reverse osmosis system. All right? Thank you, and you have a great day.